Hello everyone, welcome to another video of PyNet Labs. My name is Chirag and I'm here to provide you this video as a solution video of assignment number 9. This assignment was posted in the Telegram group of PyNet Labs and was a part of $100 giveaway. So if you too want to participate in such giveaways, make sure you join the Telegram group from the link given in the description. Now let's get started and see what do we have to do in this assignment number 9. So this is my assignment number 9, which was posted in the group, and it says to design the topology as shown below and configure devices in order to fulfill the requirements which is there in the task. So the task 1 is to configure all the LANs using the subnet 205.1.1.0/24. So we have a requirement of 120 users here in the LAN connected to PyNet 2, then 60 users in the LAN connected to PyNet 3, then 25 users to the LAN connected to PyNet 4. Then it also asks you to configure point-to-point network connection between routers. So I will be using the same network to configure that as well. Then it asks you to configure DHCP relay agent, making PyNet 1 as the DHCP server. Then configuring the Telnet on PyNet number 1 is your third task. And lastly, it asks you to put OSPF configurations to make all the networks communicate with each other.
If you enjoyed the content of the video, don't forget to like and share the video and subscribe to our channel.
So let's quickly get started. I have a similar topology ready with me here in the packet tracer. Let me quickly open that. There it is. So I'll begin the configuration first of all by calculating the subnets which I'm going to provide to these PyNet 1, PyNet 2, PyNet 3 and PyNet 4. So the very first would be calculating this 120 users. So as the subnet which is provided to us as 205.1.1.0/24, we'll be using that and we'll be doing the VLSM to calculate the subnets which will be required here at these devices. So for 120 users, I'm gonna simply take the 205.1.1.0 subnet with a /25 subnet mask. So when I use /25, it will be for 128 users and that will be able to accommodate the requirement of 120 users. Then after that, my network ID will be 205.1.1.128, and for a requirement of 60 users, I'll be using /26 subnet mask. This will give me 64 addresses, which is enough for fulfilling the requirement. Then lastly, my network ID will be 205.1.1.192, and for a 25 users I'll be using /27 because that provides you around 32 addresses, so that would be enough to fulfill the requirement there, right? Now the next thing is to calculate the point-to-point networks which will be used between these routers. So between PyNet 1 and PyNet 2 I'll be using 205.1.1.224/30. So 205.1.1.224 will be the next network ID, and /30 is used for point-to-point networks. Then after that, the next network which we can use will be 205.1.1.228/30. Then between these two, I'll be using 205.1.1.232/30. And lastly, between PyNet 1 and PyNet 4, I will use 205.1.1.236/30. So these are going to be the networks which we'll be using here inside this topology. So let's quickly get started and begin the configurations from PyNet 1. I'll go to this PyNet 1 inside the CLI. I'll start saying enable config t host name PyNet 1. On interface FA0/0, I'll put the IP address from the provided subnet. So 205.1.1.225, 255.255.255.252. After that, I'll say no shutdown. Then on interface FA0/1, I'll take the first IP from the subnet 205.1.1.236. So it will be 205.1.1.237, 255.255.252. Okay, sorry, I have to put IP address before that and then say no shutdown and exit. Then we will go to PyNet 2 and we'll put the IP addresses there. So inside the CLI, first of all, I'll say enable config t host name, we'll change the host name to PyNet 2. Then on interface FA0/0, I'll use the IP address 205.1.1.226.255.255.255.252. No shutdown. On interface FA0/1, we will use the IP address from 205.1.1.228 network. So I'll be using 229 here. 255.255.255.252 and no shutdown. And lastly, on interface FA1/0, I'm going to use the IP address 205.1.1.1 with a subnet mask of 25 bits, which is going to be this. Then say no shutdown and exit. After that, I'll move to PyNet 3 to configure the IP addresses. Inside the CLI, I'll say enable config t hostname PyNet 3. On interface FA0/1, we will have the IP address as 205.1.1.220.230i and 255.255.255.252. No shutdown. Then on interface FA1/0, we'll have the IP address 129.255.255.255. 192 is going to be the subnet mask, and then no shutdown. Then on interface FA0/0, we will use the IP 205.1.1.233, 255.255.255.252, and no shutdown. Then I'll take an exit and we'll go to the router number 4 and we'll put the configurations there. Inside the CLI, I'll say enable config t hostname PyNet 4, and on interface FA0/1, I'll put the IP address as 205.1.1.234, 255.255.255.252, and then no shutdown. On interface FA0/0, I'll give the IP address as 205.1.1.238, 255.255.255.252, and then say no shutdown. And lastly, on interface FA1/0, we will have the IP address as 205.1.1.193, and the subnet mask will be 255.255.255.224, and then say no shutdown, and we are done. So after configuring all the IP addresses on all these ports, the next task is to basically configure DHCP relay. So yeah, we have to put all the DHCP pools on PyNet 1, and we have to use it as the DHCP server. So on PyNet 1, I'll create the DHCP pools. IP DHCP pool A for the network 205.1.1.0, 255.255.255.128. The gateway address is going to be 205.1.1.1 and exit. Then I'll create another DHCP pool for the IP DHCP pool B for the network 205.1.1.128, 255.255.255.192, and the gateway address will be 205.1.1.129. This. Then IP DHCP pool C for the network 205.1.1.192, 255.255.255.224, and the gateway address will be 205.1.1.193 and exit. After creating the pools, I'll put the IP helper address on these routers. So I'll go to PyNet 2, we'll go inside FA1/0 and we'll say IP helper address, and we can use any IP which is configured on the PyNet 1, be it 205.11225 or the IP configured on FA01. So we'll be putting EIGRP configurations and the communication will be there. So it is fine even if we use the IP of FA00 or FA01. So that's really not gonna make any difference. So I'll say 205.11225 as the IP helper address here, and then say exit. Then I'll go to PyNet 3. Inside interface FA1/0, I'm gonna say IP helper address 205.11225 and exit. Then similarly on PyNet 3 also, I'll go inside interface FA1/0 and we'll say IP helper address 205.1.225 and exit. After putting the configurations of IP helper address on all these routers, my next task is to configure Telnet on PyNet 1. So I'll go to PyNet 1 and we'll configure Telnet here. Say line VTY 0 space 4. Then we will define the password as, let's say, CISCO. Say login and exit. After this, I'll set the enable secret password as PyNet 123 and then say exit. So I have configured Telnet also. Now my last task is to put them inside single area OSPF domain. So I'll be putting them all inside area 0. I'll go to PyNet 1 and we'll run a OSPF process here. Say router OSPF 10 and we'll set the router ID to 1.1.1 and exit. Then I'll select the interface range from FA0/0 to 1 and we'll say IP OSPF 10 area 0 exit. Then I'll go to PyNet 2. There I'll say router OSPF 10 router ID 2.2.2 exit. Then next task is to make the interfaces participate in area 0. So I'll select the interface range from FA00 to 1 and I'll also select FA1/0. I'll say IP OSPF 10 area 0 exit. Let's see if we get the neighborship. Okay, let's move ahead. Meanwhile, it builds the neighborship with router number 1. So in PyNet 3 also, I'll say router OSPF 10 and we'll set the router ID to 3333 exit. Select the range, interface range FA00 to 1 and then say IP OSPF 10 area 0. And I'll also make FA1/0 inside IP OSPF 10 and area 0 exit like that. Then I'll go to PyNet 4 and there also I'll configure the OSPF. So router OSPF 10 router ID 4.4.4 exit. Then interface range FA0/0 to 1 IP OSPF 10 area 0 and then interface FA1/0 IP OSPF 10 area 0 exit. Let's check if the neighborship got up. So we have a neighborship with router 1, we have a neighborship with router 3. On PyNet 3, we have a neighborship with router 2 and we have a neighborship with router 4. Then on PyNet 4, we have both of the neighborships and also on PyNet 1, we have both of the neighborships. Now, let's see if our devices are able to get IP from PyNet 1 as we have configured OSPF for the communication. So DHCP works fine here. We got the IP address. Then I'll also test it on PC1. There it goes. Then if I check it on PC2 as well, perfect. So it is working absolutely fine. I'll quickly assign the IP on all of these PCs and we are done. So our task 1 was to configure IPs, which is done. Then task 2 was to configure DHCP relay, which we have observed is working correctly. Then the third task was to configure Telnet. Let's also check that. If I go to this PC and say Telnet 205.1.1.225, so it asks me about the password. I'll say CISCO. Then it asks me, it sends me to the user setup mode. If I say enable, there it asks me about the enable password. I'll say PyNet 123. And when I run that command or when I put that password, I get inside the enable mode and I can check the details now here. So IP interface brief. So it gives me all the details. So basically we are able to build the Telnet connection and access the router absolutely fine. And then the next and last task was to configure OSPF, which we have done. And if I check the connectivity between PC0 to PC5, so it is also there. The communication is getting successful. So we can assume that we have completed the assignment correctly and it is the time to submit this according to the template. So I hope you guys got to learn out of this and enjoyed the video. I will see you in some other video. Till then, take care and bye-bye.